Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Joines, Mayor of Winston-Salem. It's my pleasure to call to order this August the 2nd meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council, and would ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Mundy.
Present.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you very much. Would you please join the city council with me in a moment of silence? Thank you very much. And would you please join the city council with me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll recognize our Sergeant at Arms tonight is Lieutenant Kevin Burns. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us tonight. Tonight's agenda of the City Council is comprised of the following items. We have 10 zoning petitions. We have an item designating a local historic landmark, an item amending the city code. There are 5 items related to boards and commissions. The zoning petitions and the local historic landmark item are listed at public hearings. And when these public hearings are called, persons in the council chamber will be given an opportunity to speak. If there is opposition to the zoning petitions, the opponents and the proponents will each be given 15 minutes for presentation and 3 minutes for rebuttal. If no one wishes to speak, I'll close the public hearing and the city council will consider the item. The meeting is being televised live tonight on TV 13. And it will be replayed on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. and again Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Copies of our agenda, as well as videos of previous meetings, are always available online on the city's website by simply clicking on the Watch Meetings Online option. Council members, we've got a number of items that we're going to continue or withdraw, but we'll go forward with the record. So, Ms. Kinney, if you'd read the first item, please.
Item Z1, continuation of public hearing on zoning petition of Hubbard Realty of Winston-Salem Incorporated from RS9 to RM5-S. Property is located on the south side of Somerset Drive, west of Sparkling Place, and the east side of Lockwood Drive, north of Caraway Lane, located in the southwest ward. Planning Board recommends approval of petition. This item was continued from the June 6, 2022 City Council meeting.
I recognize Councilmember Mundy, who I believe wants to do an additional continuance.
Yes, but first I would like to apologize for anyone that did not get the message. This was the plan. It was a late in the day development, and I tried to reach out to as many people as I could. I move to continue item W3529 until the City Council's meeting on Tuesday, September 6th, 2022.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Not the motion is to continue the item to September 6th. Please vote those in favor, yes, and anyone opposed, no. Not letting you vote.
Nope.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go back to the old-fashioned way.
It's a little rusty. We've been away.
All those in favor of this motion to continue, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. That is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember. There we go. Just a little slow. So now we go to item Z2, please.
Item Z2, continuation of public hearing on zoning petition of Michael and Ludmilla Ranieri from RS7 to MB-S. Property is located on the north side of Salisbury Ridge Road across from Nelson Street, located in the South Ward. Planning Board recommends denial of petition. This item was continued from the June 6, 2022 City Council meeting. A motion to withdraw has been received for this item.
Recognize Councilmember Larson regarding the request for withdrawal.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Joines. I'd like to move approval of the withdrawal request in the case of 3527.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion of the request to withdraw? If not, all those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. Larson. Item Z3.
Item Z3, public hearing on zoning petition of Muhammad Azam and Afeet Saeed from RS9 to NO-S. Property is located on the west side of Cole Road, south of Old Town Street, located in the southeast ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
No one has signed up to be heard on this item. Is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this rezoning? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and would recognize Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, W-3415.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there discussion? If not, all those in favor of the item, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you.
Item Z4.
Item Z4, public hearing on zoning petition of Nottingham Forest LLC from HB-S to HB-L. Property is located north of Robin Hood Road, east of Polo Road, at the eastern terminus of Lee Street, located in the northwest ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. I know the petitioner is here. No one has signed up in opposition. Is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this rezoning? All right, seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and would recognize Councilmember McIntosh.
Thank you, Mayor. I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and 2, W-3534.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion of this motion? All right, seeing no one, all those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Item Z5.
Item Z5, public hearing on zoning petition of Kennedy Investments LLC and Dana Minton from RS9 to RM12-S. Property is located on the north side of the Country Club Road, west of Kilpatrick Street, located in the west ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
Okay, again, no one has signed up in opposition to this item. I know the petitioner is here. If there are any questions, is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this rezoning? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Would recognize Councilmember Clark.
Yeah, if staff would give a 2-minute presentation, please.
Mr. Mundy?
2 minutes.
Mr. Mundy. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Mundy, you can do it too.
Councilmember Mundy, do you want to jump up and do it?
Not quite prepared. Sorry about that.
Okay, good evening, members of council, Mayor Pro Tem. Good to be here this evening. Yeah, this is a request to rezone a little over 2 acres from RS9 to RM12S. This is the property label shown on the growth management area plan located in GMA 3 along an urban corridor. This is a subject property highlighted in yellow, located again along Country Club Road, surrounded by some GOS and LOS zoning along the road, and then some RS zoning to the rear. This is the subject property, again highlighted in yellow on the aerial photo. You'll see it's it's an underdeveloped site. There's some single-family home there, perhaps another one on the lot further to the west. Again, you see the developed nature of the LOS and GOS surrounding this, as well as the single family to the rear or to the north. This is looking southeast across Country Club Road from the subject property. This is looking southwest down Country Club Road. The subject property is on the right-hand side of this image, approximately where the truck is in the image. This is the adjacent property to the west. This is the lodge and that GOS piece of property that you've seen on the zoning map. And this is adjacent to the property to the east, another office development. The area plan recommends this for office use. Given its nature of the other high intensity uses along there and the residential to the rear, multifamily is a good transitional use between Country Club and those surrounding office uses in the residential to the rear. This is this is the site plan. It's 4 6-unit apartment buildings that resemble a house around a central courtyard with parking around the perimeter. And these are the elevations of what the buildings would look like. In summary, the proposed rezoning is in keeping with the larger goals of legacy regarding redevelopment and mixing land use types. The request will increase the variety of housing types available in the area. The proposed design and elevations are compatible with the character of the area, with the office and single-family residential. And the proposed design is in keeping with the design guidelines along this growth corridor. This was heard by the planning board at the July meeting. There were no speakers in opposition, and the planning board voted unanimously to recommend approval of this request, and the site plan does meet UDO requirements.
Any questions of Mr. Murphy? All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and 2, W3535.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please vote aye or yes, and anyone opposed, vote no. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Councilman Clark. Item Z6.
Item Z6, public hearing on site plan amendment of Wachovia Bank N.A. for changes related to screening for above-ground storage tank in a GO-S district. Properties located on the northwest corner of Solace Creek Parkway and Sunny Knoll Court, located in the North Ward. Planning Board recommends denial of petition.
Okay, is there anyone in the council chamber who wishes to be heard on this particular zoning petition? Yes, sir. If you'll come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jeff Nichols. I live at 3938 Connor Glen Drive, Huntersville, North Carolina. I'm one of the architects for Wells Fargo Bank on this project, and just wanted to briefly state that coming out of the planning board hearing and hearing the comments that the planning board had for us, without going into a lot of detail on how and why we've gotten where we are, we did go back to the drawing board and came up with an alternative solution that we've worked through with planning staff and with the utility staff, and that I believe they would say is in keeping with the original design intent that the planning board and the city council approved for the project originally. So while planning board recommended denial of our petition, we've made material changes to the application or what we're proposing, and so we're just requesting consideration of that revised petition that we believe is in keeping with the original design intent.
And you agree to those conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Murphy, I think, is that included in the?
Mayor, there aren't any revised conditions. Essentially, if the city council is so compelled to approve the project, it would just be approving it with the revised elevations that have been submitted. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any questions? Mr. Clark?
What has created this problem is a water pipe in the wrong place.
So
That's yes, no. Okay. Who put the water pipe in the ground?
Well, again, it's a yes, no. It is a water pipe that caused the problem. It's still within the right of way. It's not on their property. Whenever their locate was done, the locate showed one thing. Whenever their contractor got in the work to actually do the field, it revealed that the water line was in a different location. So they did what's called a barrel.
But my point is, the drawings that we gave these folks were incorrect. We put the water pipe in the right of way, but in a different place than we originally intended. And I was taken back by what I thought was kind of an arrogant approach by the planning board, that we screwed up and stuck these people with a problem and seemed to be in no way willing to work with them. And that upset me. And I'll just express that to the planning staff and to the planning, to the commission, that we made an honest mistake, and our answer was just kind of your problem, not ours. And I think when we screw up like that, we ought to be man enough or woman enough to admit we put the pipe in the wrong place, and we will work with you to fix it, as opposed to just saying your problem. Anyway, I've expressed my frustration.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. We hear your frustration. Thank you, sir. I think Mr. Murphy is going to give us a detailed report of the planning report and the additional conditions, if that's right. Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to be heard? All right, seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and then ask Mr. Murphy to give us the report of the planning board as well as discuss the additional elevations or new elevations.
Good evening again. Yes, this is a petition for Wachovia Bank N.A., 8.65 acre tract on the northwest corner of Silas Creek Parkway and Sunny Knoll Court located in the North Ward. This is a site plan amendment to change the screening for some above ground storage tanks in the GOS district. This is the subject property shown on the growth management area plan. Subject property shown in yellow on the zoning plan, zoning map, property zone GOS. Same property highlighted in yellow on the countywide aerial photo. This is the what was at one point known as the Wachovia Data Center, now the Wells Fargo Data Center that's been there for over 20 years. This is the subject property on the north suburban area plan, showing it as an office use. These are the screening requirements that were approved with the site plan amendment that was approved back in 2018-19. Excuse me, hopefully this thing doesn't fall apart. You'll notice that the landscaping, you'll notice the columns, the sort of metal fencing in between the columns with a knee wall and some landscaping. When I say the knee wall is this low wall along the ground, which would require a footing and a foundation. That's looking north along Silas Creek. This is looking south along Silas Creek. That was what council originally approved with the site plan amendment a couple years ago. That's just an example of what the wall would have looked like. I believe part of this wall is out there on the site now, and they were trying to mimic that wall along their frontage with these security enhancements that they went to install. This was what was submitted to us back in May, June, that went to planning board in July. If you'll notice, it's just a black fence, vinyl coated perhaps, with no architectural embellishments, no columns, no knee wall. And that was a result as, again, whenever they got out into the field, their original locate showed the water line in one location. Turned out it was somewhere else. When they started talking to utilities, given where the water line was, they couldn't put the footings and the foundation in, because if they had to go in and repair the water line, there was a chance that the wall would collapse into the trench, damage the water line, injure folks. Didn't want to undermine that wall. So this is what they came back with, and we had concerns when it was submitted just because it really changed the character of what was originally envisioned with the approval of the site plan amendment a couple years ago. This is looking north. This is what that screen would have looked like, what was proposed at that time. This was, again, what was proposed to the planning board, again, looking north. This is what the new proposed screening that was submitted by Wells Fargo. When we met and discussed this with them a couple weeks ago, they came back with this image a week later or a few days later, which shows going back to the original type of fencing, putting in a product that gives the appearance of brick columns, does not have the knee wall, requires no footing and a foundation, so there is no danger of that collapsing into an open trench where the water line would have to be repaired. That's looking north. This is, again, looking south. Sunny Knoll would be in approximately where the picture's taken, and this is looking south along Silas Creek. And this is just a detail of what that column would look like, how it would be constructed. Again, no footing or foundation involved. This is just the site plan that kind of walked through where the water line was, where it ended up being located, and the problems that caused. Just a little more in depth with that. And again, I'm not the I'm not the subject matter expert related to the installation of the tanks and the generators and those kind of things which necessitated this, but in order to get the security fencing in and to get in the enhanced screening fence, they ran into the issue with the water line. It's kind of what it looks like currently out there, keeping in mind that what's out there are the security measures, not the screening measures at this point. Where those pallets are located is where they actually found the water line. Those are those barrel bores that they did where they actually penetrated the soil and actually found where the water line was, and that's why they could not locate the screening wall where they had originally intended because of the water line issue. This summary, keep in mind, was done based on what the planning board recommended. The request does not promote quality design along Silas Creek Parkway. Given the topography of the site and the increased transparency of the screening material, the proposal does not adequately screen the site from the road. Relocating the water line on the site would allow development to proceed as previously approved. Again, as we've discussed here today, we think we have that solved and get back to the original intent and the original concept that was shown to planning board and council. Again, this was heard by planning board at their July 14th public hearing. There were no speakers in opposition to the project, but planning board did vote unanimously to recommend denial of the request. The site plan does meet UDO requirements. Following the planning board public hearing, staff from several departments did meet with the petitioner, and those revised elevations work from a construction standpoint and are consistent with the original design. And I will just leave those up here. It's that image and that image. Those are the designs that would be approved tonight should council decide to approve the alternative design that they came back with us on July 27th. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Murphy? Mr. McIntosh.
To follow on with Councilmember Clark's question, you had said that the original locate, that there was a disparity between the location of that pipe based on the original locate versus a secondary locate. Whose responsibility is it to verify where that pipe is? I mean, we don't guarantee where our water pipes are.
Well, and again, I don't know who they got the original data from, whether they used our as-built or whether they went out and had a third-party person do the location. What was shown on the plans that were submitted showed the water line in a different location than where it truly was when they got out there and doing the work. But I can't answer the question as to who did the original locate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy. Well, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, I'm going to recognize you for how you want to handle this.
I'm going to make the motion
All right,
and then
please.
we'll have some comments.
Wonderful.
I move for the approval of one, the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and two, W3538 with the revised elevations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Second. Please go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just as Councilmember Clark shared, somebody kicked the can down the road to us when I think it's a simple matter of what you guys did with staff and utility. You got together. You figured out a problem. You came up with a solution. You know, and I applaud all of you for that, staff, utilities, and Wells Fargo. You are a good neighbor in the city of Winston-Salem. We love partnering with you, different organizations and others in our community. I remember when the first petition came to us back in 2018 or 19, and one of the things that I discussed with you or whoever was communicating with me at the time was how important aesthetics and appearance are to a community. And I know and remember, Councilmember McIntosh and Clark remember the Sunny Knoll battle and how difficult it's been over the years to get anyone to want to even locate there. And I applaud you for that. So I just want you to know that I'm glad we worked this out. As long as, like he said, I pass by that stretch every day, all day. Silas Creek. I turn on Sunny Knoll coming from Silas Creek West or coming from Silas Creek East, right beside your building. I know the guards. I know what time the delivery trucks come. I know all of that. But I appreciate you being in the community, and I appreciate, again, all of you working together in a team effort to solve a problem. That's what good leadership does. You solve a problem, don't blame anybody, just get it done. With that, Mayor, I'm ready to vote.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Not. All those in favor, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And this is to approve the revised conditions. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Item Z7.
Mayor, we need a motion to excuse council member.
Yeah, we're going to read the item, please. Thank you.
Item Z7, public hearing on zoning petition of Eagle Properties from LB to RM 8-S. Property is located on the south side of Arnold Avenue between South Main Street and US 52, located in the southeast ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
We do have a need to excuse Councilmember Taylor from this item. He's indicated there's a potential conflict there, and so I'd recognize Mayor Pro Tem Adams for a motion.
Thank you. I move to excuse Councilmember Taylor from participating in the discussion and voting on item Z7.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion. All those in favor of excusing Councilmember Taylor, please vote yes, and anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. That unanimous. Councilmember Taylor, you're excused from voting on this item. And this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the council chamber who wishes to be heard on this proposed zoning petition? All right, seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed, and I believe, Mayor Pro Tem, you're going to make the motion for the zoning, if you would.
Thank you,
please.
Mayor. I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and 2, W3531.
Second.
Motion second. Is there any discussion of this item? Not. All those in favor, please vote aye. Anybody opposed, vote no. And Councilmember Taylor is excused. Thank you. That motion passes 7 in favor and 1 excused. Thank you. Item Z8.
Item Z8, public hearing on zoning petition of Margaret L. Kolb Family Limited Partnership and Vanco Incorporated from RS 20-S to RS 9. Property is located on the south side of Robin Hood Road, east of Jefferson School Lane, located in the West Ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. The proponents are here tonight. Is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this rezoning? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. I would recognize Councilmember Clark.
Mayor, I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and 2, W3536.
Second.
Is there a motion and second? Any further discussion on this item? Not. All those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Clark. Item Z9.
Item Z9, public hearing on zoning petition of Barry Siegel from NSB-S to RM 12-S. Property is located on the north side of Kernersville Road between Vernon Farms Boulevard and Townsend Drive, located in the East Ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this rezoning petition? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and recognize Councilmember Scipio.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion and have a few comments.
Yes, ma'am, please.
I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and 2, W-3537.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Please go ahead, Councilmember Scipio.
Yes, I'd like Mr. Murphy just to give us a brief presentation.
Get caught up here. All right, good evening again. Yes, this is a 4.79 acre tract on the north side of Kernersville Road at the entrance to Vernon Farms. And again, this is a request to rezone from NSBS to RM12S. This is the subject property with the label shown on the Legacy Growth Management Area Plan in GMA 3. This is the subject property highlighted in yellow, again, at the entrance to Vernon Farms along Kernersville Road, and at Townsend Drive is another street that bounds the property. This is the subject property highlighted in yellow on the countywide aerial photo. You'll see it's zoned NSBS, and it's adjacent to the Vernon Farms project, which is a mix of townhomes and single-family homes. And the proposal before you is to bring forward some more townhomes as a part of this project. NSBS has been in place for over 15 years. I want to say 2005, 2006, roughly would be my guess. So you're looking at 17 years, and it hasn't been developed at this point. And of course, under the NSBS, they're allowed to develop a shopping center with, I believe, up to 45,000 square feet of area of shops. The area plan recognizes the existing commercial zoning on the site and doesn't recommend a change. But again, if you do look at this in the context of downzoning this property, for lack of a better term, from a commercial shopping center to multifamily, it is adjacent to an area that is identified for intermediate density residential directly to the northwest. So staff believes that it's certainly in spirit and in keeping with the other development within the area. This is a historic photo of the house that was on the site whenever the project was rezoned back in the early 2000s. It subsequently was removed because it was heavily damaged, had some termite damage, some other things, and they removed it in preparation for hopefully eventually doing a commercial development, but that did not happen. This is a barn that actually remains on site today. This is looking north on Vernon Farms. The subject property would be to the right. This is looking west on Kernersville Road. The subject property is where the photo is being taken from. That's looking across Vernon Farms, looking west along Kernersville Road. This is looking east on Kernersville Road. Again, the subject property is to the left. This is looking south on Townsend Drive. The subject property is in the background here. This is what the site plan would look like. It's a little over 50 townhomes located there on the NSBS zone property. Kernersville Road to the south on this image, the entrance into Vernon Farms to the left, and Townsend Drive is on the right-hand side of this image, and you have the storm pond being proposed in that location as well. Legacy recommends encouraging a mixture of residential densities and housing types. The Southeast Suburban Area Plan Update recognizes the commercial zoning on the subject property. The requested rezoning would be considered a downzoning from that commercial zone to multifamily. A proposed development is also along Kernersville Road Growth Corridor, which is one of the things that Legacy encourages. Staff believes this request is appropriate given the changing market conditions and the surrounding development pattern. This was heard by their planning board at their July 14th public hearing. There was one speaker in opposition, and that opposition centered around traffic and some concerns about stormwater impacts to the existing adjacent neighbors. After hearing those concerns, the planning board did vote unanimously to recommend approval of this request to City Council. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Murphy? Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
Thank you.
We do have a motion on the floor. Councilor Scipio, did you want to add other comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to continue to stress the need for us to improve our roads. Kernersville Road is a very, very, very heavily trafficked thoroughfare. It is a state road. And as developments come, there's so much traffic added. And I really, really hope that we will be able to assess how we need to change that particular road to more stoplights, to make it more convenient for our new residents to travel to and from. Love the development, but we really need to be more in tune to what really impacts our residents' goings and comings. So traffic study would be excellent.
Thank you, Councilmember. Okay, we do have a motion to approve the zoning 3537. Please vote yes if you're in favor, no if you're against it. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Scipio. Item Z10.
Item Z10, public hearing on zoning petition of City of Winston-Salem from RSQ to IP-L. Property is located on the south side of Humphrey Street, west of Free Street, located in the East Ward. Planning Board recommends approval of petition.
Going to recognize Councilmember Scipio, who I believe is going to move for a continuance.
Yes. I move to continue W-3533 to the City Council's meeting on October 3rd, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to continue this to October 3rd. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of continuance, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that's unanimous to continue to October the 3rd. Thank you, Councilmember. Item Z11.
Item Z11, public hearing on ordinance designating certain property as a local historic landmark, Alexander S. and Mary R. Haynes House, recommended by Community Development, Housing, and General Government Committee.
Thank you. Michelle McCullough is going to give us a brief presentation before we do the public hearing.
It's like magic up here. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I was expecting to be after a very long meeting, so I've made this very brief for you, so I hope you hope that's okay. This afternoon, we're going to examine local historic landmark designation for the Alexander S. and Mary R. Haynes House at 525 North Hawthorne Street. The applicants are the owners, James and Melanie Broyhill. The tax block and lot and pin are, as noted up on the screen. It is about a 5.23 acre, two-lot property. They are requesting designation of the complete exterior and interior of the house, stone walls on the property, and a garage apartment building along with the entire tax block and lot. Here is a map of the location. Again, the house is on Hawthorne, and it's paralleled with Ronaldo Road. There are two other structures on the site, a pergola and a childhood, like a cabin playhouse is the word. Those are be non-contributing and not part of the designation. Just to go over the process, because we don't do these every day or every month, at the Historic Resource Commission staff, we accept applications from the public. They have to meet two criteria, which is designation, which is significant local significance, integrity of the property and the building. We are then required by state law to send it to the North Carolina State Historic Preservation Office for their comment. They do get 30 days to comment. From there, it goes back to the Historic Resource Commission, and they hold a public hearing to come up with a recommendation for the proper elected body. In this case, it is City Council, and we're here this evening, and City Council will hold a public hearing. If designated, the ordinance is then sent to the tax office, to the county, for the deferral to be determined, and that is up to a 50% property tax deferral on the designated portions, and for mapping. And then after that time, the property owner is obligated to go through design review with the Historic Resource Commission for any changes, additions, or demolitions on the property of anything that's designated. The Haynes House has been designated with significant local significance for its possession for local architectural significance. It's due to its refined Georgian Revival style. It was designed by Charles Barton Keene, who is a Philadelphia-based firm who also designed Ronaldo House and many of our homes here in Winston-Salem, built by McNeil Construction Company. The Haynes House is particularly notable for its scale, sophisticated execution in a state-like setting. It does meet all 7 required criteria for integrity, location, setting, design, material, workmanship, feeling, and association. We did get comment back from the State Historic Preservation Office on April 12th, 2022. They stated that the elected body and the Historic Resource Commission had enough information with the application to make a determination. That's about all they will give us usually. The Forsyth County Historic Resource Commission held a public hearing on May 4th, and the applicant spoke at the hearing. At that meeting, the HRC unanimously found that the Alexander S. and Mary R. Haynes House meets the criteria for designation as a Winston-Salem local historic landmark because of its special significance in terms of architectural importance, and it possesses those 7 integrity features. It did recommend to City Council that they complete exterior, interior of the house, the stone walls, and the garage apartment, and all of the tax lot and block 1150, lots 101C and 201, pins as referenced here, to be designated as such. And that's all I have for you this evening.
Questions of Ms. McCollum? Good job. Thank you, Michelle. This is in the Northwest Ward, I believe, Mr. McIntosh. Would you like to?
I move to approve the application.
Second.
Motion second to approve the historic designation. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. All right, item Z12.
Item Z12, second reading on ordinance amending Chapter 6, 10, 14, 22, 26, 30, 34, 38, 42, 46, 58, 62, 70, 74, and 78 of the City Code to comply with the requirements of SB 300, recommended by the Community Development Housing General Government Committee.
This is a second reading. I would recognize the chairman of the Housing General Government Committee, Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes. Do we need the attorney to say anything? No?
I think it's just a motion to move approval.
Wait a minute.
I move approval of Z12.
Second.
Okay. I neglected to close the public hearing on Z11, so therefore I will close the public hearing. We're done talking about that one. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm not sure you actually opened it, so we won't open and close it.
Oh, okay. I will open the public hearing. Anyone will be heard on the designation for historic landmark. I know the petitioner was here, but Mr. Brohill left, and no one's there, so therefore I will close the public hearing. Now, Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
I move for the approval of item Z12.
Second.
Second. And any discussion of item Z12? All right. All those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Item Z13.
Item Z13, Mayor joins recommendations for appointment to the Citizens Police Review Board. Warren Napier, term expiring April 2025. Karen Bartoletti, term expiring April 2024.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. Item Z14.
Item Z14, Mayor joins recommendation for appointment to the City County Planning Board. Salvador N. Patino, term expiring February 2026.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Council members, we need to pull item Z15, give the city attorney a chance to review an issue between the state code and the document creating utilities commission. So we'll bring this back at a later time. Item Z16.
Item Z16, Mayor joins recommendation for reappointment to the Triad Municipal ABC Board. Daymond Lindell, term expiring 2025.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, any discussion on this one? All those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. Council members, on item Z17, we need to excuse again Councilmember Taylor. This appointee is a employee of the Winston-Salem Chronicle, I believe. Mr. Taylor, is that correct? So I entertain a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Adams, please.
I move to excuse Councilmember Taylor from participating in the discussion and voting on item Z17.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion. All those in favor of excusing Councilmember Taylor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. That is unanimous. And if you would read Z17.
Item Z17, Mayor joins recommendation for appointment to the Triad Municipal ABC Board. Shayna M. Smith, term expiring June 2024.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move for approval of item Z17.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no, and Councilmember Taylor is excused. The motion is approved, 7 in favor, 1 excused. Thank you very much. That's the end of our agenda. Council members, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? No. We are adjourned.